A long time ago, there was an event that shook the world, whose impact has reverberated throughout time and space. And that event was called Barbenheimer. Thank you. The year was 2023. Two huge summer blockbuster films were being released on the same day in July. The Barbie movie, directed by Greta Gerwig, and Oppenheimer from Christopher Nolan. The contrast between the two films, one a comedy about a children's toy, the other a drama about the invention of the nuclear bomb. The contrast was just too delicious for the internet to ignore, and so the term Barbenheimer was coined. Today, we're going to look a little bit at the Barb, and next week maybe we'll look a bit at the Enheimer. But today, the Barbie movie. Okay, and for those of you who haven't seen it, the Barbie movie roughly goes like this. There's a Barbie called Stereotypical Barbie, that's her name. And she lives in her Barbie world where everything is perfect and delightful. And she has loads of friends and she swims in her swimming pool and she looks exactly like Margot Robbie, who's the actress who plays this Barbie. Pardon? Yes, pink car. And in this world, everything is awesome. But then all of a sudden, Barbie starts to feel differently. Her mood changes, her body changes. For example, her feet go from being kind of like permanently in heel position to being flat. You may remember that. She's not quite so happy-go-lucky anymore, you know. And when she tries to figure out what's happening, she learns that her woes are coming from the fact that the girl who owns her, like in the real world, there's the Barbie world, and then there's like our real world. And in the real world, she is somebody's toy. And the person whose toy she is has started to be sad or something's gone wrong. She's unhappy. And so that's why Barbie is starting to kind of suffer in her world. If Barbie wants things to go back to normal, she needs to travel to our world, find the girl, and like help her out. And that begins a journey of self-discovery that changes Barbie and Ken and the whole Barbie world, really. Now, this is a particular kind of story. You might call it a Pinocchio story. It's the kind of story where some doll or toy or robot discovers what it means to be human. Such films include Barbie, Pinocchio, The Iron Giant, I think maybe Edward Scissorhands. I don't know, does Frankenstein fall into this category? Maybe. The Spielberg Kubrick film AI, Artificial Intelligence, and others. In them, the doll or the robot is almost human, but not quite. Something essential is missing. As the characters struggle to figure out what that is, we, the audience, get a chance to reflect on our own humanity, on what makes us human. The question of what makes us human feels especially urgent right now. Artificial intelligence tools are performing more and more tasks that used to be done only by human beings, like yesterday. Activities that were unique to us are suddenly no longer unique to us. So then the question arises, if we're not those things, if we're not the beings who do those types of things, then what are we? I don't know about you, but I'm sort of freaked out about AI. It feels like every day I'm hearing some dire new prediction about job losses and economic insecurity and social upheaval. Feels like every day I'm hearing about rogue AI agents loose on the internet, or maybe even a robot apocalypse. That's a Greek word, by the way. We can talk about it later. It makes me uneasy and unsure about my place in the world. Though I thought it would be a good time now to pause, take a few weeks to get together, look at scripture, and see what we can learn there about how to relate to artificial intelligence. What are some faithful responses to these new tools and the effects that they're having on the world? So today is the first part in a three-part series. Next week, we'll look at the difference between information and wisdom and about how to use these tools wisely. The week after that, we'll consider a few of the social and ethical dimensions of AI and how Scripture might inform the way that we collectively use these tools in a way that affirms the goodness of humanity and creation and furthers the work and the love of Christ in the world. For now, we're asking this question: what does it mean to be human? What is ours that cannot be taken away from us or improved upon? In other words, what were we made for? We'll start with Genesis. The story we just heard from Genesis 2 is one of the creation accounts of humanity. And it says, "Then God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the man became a living being. And then God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there put the man who had been formed. Out of the ground God made to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to till it and keep it." This description is so physical. It's earthy, it's dusty. It emphasizes our connection to the ground. You may remember that the Hebrew word Adam, means man or human, and Adamah means earth or soil or ground. So the name Adam means kind of like earth person or mud man or something like that. We are deeply integrated with the earth, with the land, with creation. And then next it says that out of the ground God made to grow every tree that is pleasant to sight and good for food. Pleasant to sight, To me this says that beauty, the experience of beauty, is an important part of being human. Enjoying the sights and sounds and smells of existence is part of what we are here to do. And then, good for food. These trees, we have to eat. But I think it's more than that. In the book of Ecclesiastes, the author states, "There is nothing better for mortals than to eat and drink and find enjoyment in their toil. This also I saw is from the hand of God." There's a sense that we are meant to enjoy life as much as we can, to eat good food and drink wine and hang out with friends. It's a big part of what makes us human. And this is important right now because these are things that distinguish us from technological tools. A computer might be able to drive a car or paint a painting, but it can't enjoy the taste of a ripe peach. Not like we do. It does not share a common ancestor with the birds and the mammals and the trees and all living things. I think that in the face of technological change, these words from Genesis and Ecclesiastes are good to remember because they bring us back to the earth, to our physical bodies and our conscious experience. They center relationship and remind us to be mindful of the beauty and the bounty of creation. I see many of those same principles at work in the reading from John. There, the bodily, resurrected Christ, is on earth for a very limited amount of time before he's going to go and join God in heaven. And what is he doing? He's at the beach, obviously. That's where I'd be. He's got a fire going and he's grilling some fish for his homies. They're hanging out. They're fishing out there. They're grilling. They're going to eat some bread. That's what it's all about. We're Christians, after all. A good deal of our worship centers around a meal with friends. In her book chapter, "What Are People For?" in Christian Life, Discipleship, and Ministry, Reverend Haran Kim Craig makes the case that celebration is at the heart of the United Church's understanding of what it means to be human. Our faith statement, A New Creed, affirms that we are called to be the church, to celebrate God's presence. Indeed, our most recent book of services is called Celebrate God's Presence. Part of what we are celebrating is God's presence among us in spite of our imperfections and failures. We are flawed, The world is not perfect, and yet God is with us. God sent the Messiah to be with us, to be us, to open a new path toward reconciliation. One of the things that Jesus teaches is that there is beauty to be found in imperfection, because messy lives and relationships are the places where grace and forgiveness happen. In his recent letter, Magnifica Humanitas, subtitled On Safeguarding the Human Person in the Time of Artificial Intelligence, Pope Leo XIV writes about the importance of using AI tools to build for the common good. He writes that building for the common good means accepting the limits and weakness of humanity without considering them an error to be corrected. In the Barbie movie, there's a scene where Barbie and Ken first arrive in the real world, our world. And they get arrested a few times because they don't understand how things work, like stores and money and things. It's very humorous. Then there's a moment when Barbie is sitting alone on a park bench, eyes closed, and she's trying to remember her owner. This is how it works. She has deep conscious memories of the kid in the real world who plays with her. So she has to kind of try to access them. So she's trying to think about that, and she recalls fragments of the little girl's life, moments of joy and moments of sadness. Recalling these memories, Barbie sheds her first tear. And as the tear falls, she says, "That felt achy, but good." And then she looks around at the people in the park, old and young, playing, laughing, arguing. The scene is meant to capture the beautiful mess that is humanity. At the end of the film, Barbie decides not to go home to her Barbie world, but instead to stay in our world with all of its ambiguity and complication, its joy and sorrow. And I think it's because there's nothing more profound than the grace of being loved in spite of our flaws and offering the same love and grace to others. God also chose to live in our world, to become human, to be vulnerable, to be hungry and thirsty, to share with us all the pain and suffering as well as the joy and the celebration. Jesus Christ is God's definitive declaration of solidarity with humanity and affirmation that despite our imperfections, humanity is good and worth saving. When we consider the powerful new tools that we are creating, we shouldn't judge ourselves by their standards of speed, efficiency, and output, but rather by the gospel. We were made for love, to love God, to love one another, to love with all of our imperfections. We were made to tend to the garden of creation, to feel the evening breeze on our skin as we walk through it with God. We were made to be in communion with family, friends, to enjoy a meal, to taste and smell grilled fish and freshly baked bread on the shores of the sea. We were made to celebrate God's presence, to celebrate life, both of which are gifts from God. There are lots of great things that human beings do. We build, we create art, we research and invent. They are important, and they are wonderful, but they are not our most important calling. Our most important calling is to be in loving relationship with God and with one another. That is what we were made for. I'm going to sing a song now. Sorry. It's from the Barbie movie soundtrack. It's by Billie Eilish. For me, this song captures one of the feelings of this moment, this AI frontier moment. It's a feeling of being suddenly unsure about our place in the world, unsure about who we are and what to do about it. It's kind of a sad song, but it's also hopeful. And it ends with the confidence that we are made for happiness and that it will return.